Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I don't know if everyone can hear me. Just waiting for people because I think I scheduled the wrong place and I've gone live in a different place. So sorry about that. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Noreen and XCRIZ. Can you guys hear me loud and clear? Oh, alhamdulillah, perfect. Okay. So I'm just waiting for a few others to join because I scheduled somewhere else, but for some reason the laptop's not giving me the option to go live from that scheduled stream. So really ajib. I've not done a YouTube live for a long time. I've done a lot of StreamYard lives, but this is a straight up. So how is everyone? How was your Eid? How was your Ramadan? All good, inshallah. So I'll just do the opening du'as. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Amma ba'd. So this is a very informal, just how I like it, informal live session where it's going to be Q&A, general Q&A, no particular topic. I do want to touch upon a couple of things and then it's going to be over to you guys. So any dawah related questions you have, any issues, and if I have the knowledge, if I know the answer, I'll pass it on, inshallah. So first, to start off with, a sister, let's say sister, her name is Sister Hussein from Canada. She asked a question, and the question was, which is, I think a lot of people ask this. She's new to the dawah, and she's saying, I'm afraid that if I give dawah, if I engage with someone, if I call to Allah or share knowledge, I'm afraid that I'll say the wrong thing. I'm afraid that I will say the wrong thing and be accountable for it, and I'm still learning, and so those kind of things. And this is a really interesting fear. This is a good anxiety that people have in the dawah, and it's valid. You do not want to be the kind of person that passes on wrong information, right? This is a deen of Allah here, right? This is a deen of Allah. So my advice for that would be, absolutely, I acknowledge that, I appreciate that. So number one, we should be seeking knowledge. Okay, we should be seeking knowledge with scholars, through books, through videos, through podcasts, whatever, inshallah. We should be seeking regular knowledge. At the same time, whatever you're learning, you share. Okay, so the thing is, nobody's expecting you to become an overnight philosopher. Even if you attend a dawah training, even if you're sitting with the scholars, even if you've read books, nobody's expecting you to pass on knowledge. Remember, dawah, it's an introduction to Islam. It's an opening. It's a conversation. It's a discussion. We're not asking you to teach people things. There is some teaching involved, but we're not asking you to teach them. Teaching is halakha. Teaching is after you've. So let's say you are engaging with a Muslim youth. You've given them a good reminder about the purpose of life and about harams and any sins they're involved in. You've given them nasiha. You've done some great game planning. You've done good rapport, and you've won their heart, etc., etc. If you've done all that, literally all you're saying to them is, try and get to know Allah. Try and get to know your Lord. Try and get to know Creator. That's all you're doing. And then if there's interest from that person, if they're really interested and they like what you're saying, then after a few conversations, whether online or offline, they will then ask themselves, okay, I need to go learn knowledge now. I need to go learn knowledge. Who do I go to? Now you can either teach them if you know it, or attach them to scholars, or watch a series, or read a book or something. Yeah. So there's a difference between teaching and actually engaging in dawah. The other thing is, look, you don't really need much knowledge when it comes to things like, you know, brother, you know, sister, I think if you're not praying 5 times a day, I think you should, because it's an obligation. And once you start praying, if you haven't, it's the most beautiful experience of your life. Once you get in sujood, this is the best time to have conversation with the Lord of the worlds, right? Brother or sister, I think we should watch the conditions of our heart. We should check the condition of our heart, the spiritual heart. Are we lying too much? Are we backbiting? Are we gossiping? Do we have envy? Do we have jealousy? Do we have too much anger? You know, these things. Let's recheck our heart. Let's check ourselves. These things, what I just said about the salah and the heart as examples, you don't need much knowledge of that, right? What you've done there is given dawah. What you've done there is given dawah. If it's a non-Muslim, you can say to them, look, if you maybe you should check out the purpose of your life, or maybe you should think about if there's a creator or not, or maybe you should ponder upon this vast, beautiful world of ours, the seas, the mountains, or even the galaxy and the universe, and just ponder upon it. Get away from the devices and everyday rat race, and just ponder upon this. Just think about this, and think: is there a creator? And if there is, how beautiful and magnificent is this creator? So, look, what I just gave you 3 examples there. Do they need much knowledge? Do they need vast amounts of training? No, these are just simple, logical things. So that's the kind of dawah we're talking here, yeah? So that's so I hope the sister who watches this now or watching it later understands that, yes, you should seek knowledge, but the best way to get knowledge is to engage in dawah. And the more dawah you do, the things that you do know, you share. If you don't know anything, of course, don't share that. Just say, I don't know. Okay, alhamdulillah. Okay, so if you have any questions, please put in the comments. I see people like Nazia saying salam, Aqib, Marukh bin Nasir, Fahim, Maryam, Asian Niaz, Sonobar, alhamdulillah. So yeah, if you have any questions, please share your questions here. Don't be afraid. There's no such thing as a bad question. There's no such thing as a bad question. So please ask your questions. And inshallah, if I have the answer, I'll pass it to you. If not, I'll find out for you. That's the way it works. Okay, there was another question by a brother called, bear with me a second, I've got a note here. Okay. So the question is by a brother called Saqib Khan. He's asking that I'm new in the dawah field, and while doing dawah to Hindus, some Hindu brother are very rude sometimes and don't want to listen to anything and talks very ill of Islam. So this makes the da'i's blood boil. And the other part of the question was, in our Muslim community, some of our Muslim brothers that go to the grave and they engage in bid'ah. And they also behave in a rude way and sometimes call us kafir. How to deal with these people? Okay, so interesting question. So what he's saying there, what he's asking is, there are people who hate Muslims in Islam. This is a fact. We saw what's happening in Palestine. This is an age where people are much more bold in their hate now. Before, they used to cover their hate and they used to be a bit wise about it. Now they're openly, subhanAllah, open about it, subhanAllah. This is the kind of age we're living in. People are bold in their hatred. May Allah guide people. Now, the thing, brothers and sisters, yeah, when it comes to, for example, in this situation, Hindus, and I can appreciate that, it is not easy. First, I want to say that it is very difficult, especially if you're in India. And the Hindus, they have been brainwashed, they've been taught school curriculum by their leaders, political situations, whatever they've been taught, they have been brainwashed to hate Muslim Islam, right? Now, the thing is, I believe that if they are going to use vulgar language, whether it's online, face-to-face, whatever, if they're going to become very rude and use vulgar language, we should not go down to the level at all. The moment we go down to their level of abusing back or even mocking back or attacking back, then what's the difference between you and that person? Remember, what is dawah? Dawah, we're calling to Allah. We're calling for humanity to submit their hearts and minds to the Creator, the one that made the heart and mind in the first place. Yeah? We're calling people to acknowledge His existence and His vast power and His wisdom and glory. And we need people to acknowledge that He is one in His nature. And that we need people to know that He deserves worship. Now, once that's established as a belief, what else are we calling to? We're calling to Islam. And when we go to Islam, what do we mean? In Islam, you are taught to be a better human being. Islam elevates a human being to a high standard. A human being reaches his full potential when it has Islam in them. Without Islam, a human being anywhere on earth, they will never reach their full potential. Islam teaches you how to be pure civilized, how to be so-called, they say human. That's what Islam teaches you. So you shouldn't, first of all, the da'i who's engaging with this Hindu who is being very vulgar and rude and evil, whatever, don't go in their level and expect this. Why are you surprised? If the person has been taught to hate Islam, Muslims all their life, why are you surprised about that? You should expect it. And what we need to do is take the prophetic example in everything. Do we not take the prophetic example in everything? When it comes to eating and sleeping and drinking and talking and mu'amalat, do we not take the prophetic example? Yes or no? I want to hear in the comments. Yes or no? Right? If we take the prophetic example, the Uswat Hasana, how did the Prophet, upon him be peace, dealt with those people who also bullied him and were vulgar and evil? He did it with hilm. The Arabic word hilm. What is hilm? Hilm is forbearance. Forbearance. He engaged with them, but he kept his cool. He engaged with them, but he didn't attack back. He engaged and talked to them, but kept his patience. That's what dawah is. If you can't be patient, because remember, brothers and sisters, if they're attacking you, if they're being abusive towards you, and then you start reacting and you go around the level and maybe you even fight with them, then I'm sorry, but you've lost the whole game. You've lost it. Because the whole point was a test. Dawah is testing our resolve. Dawah is testing our patience. You're going to get people like that, subhanAllah, right? And the same is with people who are, you could say, not upon the sunnah, doing things out of deep ignorance. Again, brothers and sisters, why are you getting angry? I can understand you getting angry. In fact, let me give you a tip. Sometimes the evil of a Hindu or or anybody, whether it's someone who's not upon the correct sunnah and doing some sort of things out of ignorance, a Muslim, you do get angry because you love Islam. You have ghairah for Islam. You love the Quran and Sunnah. I admire that. But what we need to do is, if you can't profess that anger to that person. Internally, you can get angry. You know what I used to do? I'll give you an example. When I was in, I think in London, happened in the University of Pakistan as well. I'm engaging with someone, and this person being very vile towards Islam, very mocking, very snidey, very sarcastic, really winding you up. As Muslims, we get winded up so easily, right? So what this person, I was about to burst. I was saying, you flipping cat, you jahil. I wanted to say that, but what I did is I said to him, look, can you just give me a moment? Give me a moment, I'll be back. He stood there on the stall. I went around the corner. I shouted and screamed inside my head, like not ready. I went, oh, what an idiot. Oh, these people, what do they understand? Let out that frustration, let out that rant. Then come back and say, so where were we? So I know you have to let it out. You have to let it out, yeah? But you can't show them. The moment you show anger, the moment you show that they basically look at this, right? There's Hindu people are not on Sunnah, Haliyah, or whoever you're giving doubt. If they wind you up, if they try and attack you or be evil or angry, you know what they're doing? They're testing you. They're testing you. Do not lose a test. Don't react. They want you to react. That's their whole game. They want you to react. But how are we going to react? We're going to be firm. We're going to answer questions intellectually, compassionately, but we're not going to show our anger. We're going to keep smiling in the first of adversity. That is the da'i. That's what we have to go towards, inshallah. Yeah, I hope that's clear, brothers and sisters. I'm just going to scroll up and see any questions here. Okay, Bushra Shahab says, the main purpose of dawah motivation is to give training. Then why training is not happening still? Okay, so Sister Bushra, that's a question for the DM management. So if there's anyone here, I think Sister Aisha Tariq or Sister Ayman or Sister Sameen, please, that question's for them. Jazakallah khair. Tahreem says, what characteristics a da'i should have, his or her personality? Yeah, subhanAllah. What are the characteristics of Islam? What does Islam teach you? Islam teaches you to be positive all the time. Islam teaches you to respond to evil with that which is better. The Quran says, respond to any kind of evil with that which is better. And once that the people who were enemies, they become close bosom friends. This is the ayah of the Quran. I'll try and get the reference later. This is a prophetic example. So people are come attacking to you, but you got to show great character, great adab, gentleness, no gruffness, yeah, no coarseness in your language, Look at how Musa alayhi salam, one of the greatest of human beings, how he dealt with the worst of people, Pharaoh. He went up to them, and he could have, and all after oppression, he could have shouted and been angry and debated. No, he kept his cool and invited to Allah. So the surah, the Quran teaches how to engage with people. We need to reach out to people. We need to show extra courteousness. We need to be extra kind. We need to be special. We need to always smiling. 100%. These are some of the characteristics, inshallah. Parveen says, okay, before that, Maryam Fatma says, what's something everyone should experience at least once in their life? Okay, that's an interesting question. You know what I would say? Okay, this is, I don't know if it makes sense, but I think everyone should experience either street fundraising or street dawah once in their life, because that really questions your comfort zone. Going to a place where people are ignoring you, people don't want to talk to you, and then with your tactics, with your style, charm, cheekiness, which I do. I don't know if you see some videos on this channel. Try it, and that's great for confidence, great for communication power. So yeah, I think people should definitely try either street dawah or street fundraising once in their life. Ruhi Fatma says, do you think before joining dawah program we should know every detail about Islam? No, of course not, Sister Ruhi. Islam is so vast and huge that even the scholars of Islam, the greatest scholars, the most knowledgeable, one example is Imam Shafi'i, right? Imam Shafi'i, one of the greatest minds in our history. His quote is that my knowledge is like a drop in the ocean. That's him. Where does that put us? So learning Islam is a lifelong process until the day you die, and then even then we won't know. So you to keep learning, but at the same time, whatever you learn, share with your family members, share with your neighbors, share with, if you have built rapport with the shopkeeper or the milkman or the refuse collector or whoever it's human being, every human being, if you've had some rapport, salam dua with them, then why don't you just ask them a question like, what is the purpose of life? That's a very good one. It's an easy one. We should try and get to know, but don't. I mean, and the other thing, as I said, when let's say you are wanting to go get to know the details of Islam before you get dawah, do you know what date that will be? Will that be in a year's time or 2 years' time? Can you say in 2023, around May the 22nd, around 10 p.m., I'm now ready, I have all the knowledge of Islam? You can't say that. You can't say that. So it's a lifelong process, inshallah. Parveen Begum says, if someone non-Muslim wants to read Quran in English, can you suggest? Yes, the best English translations are either M.A.S. Abdul Halim's, M.A.S. Abdul Halim, one of the translators, Egyptian scholar, a professor at SOAS of Arabic. His translation is highly regarded. And also Dr. Mustafa Khattab, who's, mashallah, the head of IRA in Canada. His translation, which is the Clear Quran, he wrote this with the intention for non-Muslim understanding. So he wrote it in that way. So it's a highly recommended book, mashallah, the Clear Quran. Jennifer says, well, assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. Marukh bint Nasir, how to give dawah to Muslim relatives who are unaware and far away from Quran, and when you say anything, they will say, don't tell us. Yeah, okay. Family is very difficult. Family is the most hardest to give, family and friends, because you're close to them. There is a blog, maybe some members of DM can share it, which talks about some ideas of how to engage with family. But look, brothers and sisters, with family, it's a lifelong process. Like when it comes to street dawah or dawah at campus or one-to-one dawah, it's like a quick thing. It's like a short thing. You're going to pass on the message and some will respond, some won't. But with the family, it's a lifelong process. So first of all, psychologically, you think 10, 15, 20 years. Because if your family has not been upon the deen or upon the sunnah all their life, so your dad, 40, 50 years old, your mom, 30, 40 years old, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of living another way of life. They be living another way of life, which is maybe upon ignorance and maybe some innovations and maybe not Islamic, right? Then how can you expect them to change overnight? And especially listen to a person who they saw grow up, us. So first of all, parents they'll find it very hard to learn or being given dawah to by someone who, they're going to look at you. They're going to look at you, their child. In Urdu, maine tumhari nappy change kiya. I changed your nappies when you're young. I used to clean your nose, your snot when it used to come out your nose. Tum mujhe sikaoge, tum mujhe deen sikaoge. You're going to teach me. So look, we have to understand that. We have to appreciate that. I'm a parent as well. So you got to think it's a lifelong thing, right? And the other thing, you don't give them dawah. You got to think of different ways. One of the best ways is silent dawah, which is WhatsApp. Every parent, even our nanima, dadima in the village, they've all got smartphones and WhatsApp. They've all got phones and smarts. So WhatsApp is a very good way. So send your dad or something. Say, Dad, Assalamu alaikum. Dad, I've sent you a video. What do you think? It could be a video from Youth Club, because a lot of brothers and sisters of India, and Youth Club has a lot of good content, mashallah, Urdu, short clips, long clips, and they're very well made, very well thought out, very relevant, very nicely produced. Send them that. Maybe that. So they may not need the verbal dawah. And there's many tips. One I want to touch upon this is that if you are a good person anyway, let's say, Nadeem Bhai, I'm very good. Like, since I changed, I've been good. When you want to engage in dawah and try and influence your family, you've got to be extra good, extra nice, extra friendly. So let's say you're someone, as a sister, you help out with making food in the kitchen with your mom. Now go extra. Maybe if you help once or twice a day, now help every day, right? Maybe do things like, clear the table. Maybe put a nice scent on the table, and a nice candle. Maybe, I don't know, and this is really random. Maybe when your parents are about to sit for meal, maybe pull out the chair. You know how when you go to restaurants and the waiter pulls out a chair, gee, sir, bete. Do that. That might surprise him, right? It's okay, okay. What do you want? But look, these things, these gestures, so you got to be extra nice, extra courteous, extra. And the other thing is, you got to be, if you're a student, because parents always want us to be the best students and get the best marks, you've got to be extra brilliant as a student now. Because if you're a beast, if you're a C student, C, Milra, C, you need to become an A student, an A student. If you get that, then they'll respect you. Once they respect you, they will listen to anything you say. Abba, I want to listen you to listen. I want you to go to the lecture with me, or I want you to listen to the scholar's speech, or I want you to. Now they listen to you, but you got to give them something. So parents, give them that A grade student, inshallah. Okay. Fatma Hate says, got a chance to see a critical person who was going to die, so I asked her, pray to one God and ask our Creator to forgive her, and say that she believes in one God. Okay, alhamdulillah, excellent. Yeah, because when someone's on the throngs of death, this is the perfect time to give dawah, subhanAllah. I want to take some questions from people who have not spoken before. Sajid Hussain says, Assalamu alaikum, would love to hear your tips on memorizing verses and surahs. I would appreciate hearing your recitation of your favorite surah as your viewers. Okay, so Brother Sajid, this is actually, I want to take that as a nasiyah for me, because this is one of my biggest weaknesses, and it's something I've been conscious of for the last few months. The brothers that I look up to, they've been pushing me and advising me about this, inshallah. So absolutely. In fact, I was just Surah Al-Nasr as a new surah, which I memorized after a long time. Alhamdulillah, may Allah accept it. And I do plan to recite more verses of Quran in my training, in my reminders. So alhamdulillah, Brother Sajid, excellent comment, Jazakallah khair. And I'm not sure about me reciting, but I'm definitely going to use verses of the Quran in the dawah, inshallah. Same people asking questions, but I'm going to pick on someone else. Let's have a look. Someone who's not been here before. So but okay, a lot of questions are coming through. Actually, the questions I miss, if I can ask any DM members, Fatim Wahid, Aisha Tara, if you can just copy and paste any questions I miss and just paste them later, inshallah, because I like to interact with all of you, inshallah. In fact, while I'm also talking, do tell me, there's 23 people. If you could maybe share this stream with all your contacts right now. So WhatsApp status, Instagram story, Twitter, Facebook page, post or story. If you can all share this right now while I'm speaking to you just now, then maybe other people can join in and maybe they have questions, inshallah. And then we get a share in the reward, yeah? So let's get this 23 up to 30 plus, inshallah, yeah? Okay, I'm going to take some questions in order, otherwise I'll lose it. Mariam Fatma says, sir, what to do when people believes in one God but don't want to accept Islam? Okay, yeah. So first of all, only Allah guides. Our job is to pass on the message effectively. If they've understood, if it makes sense that there is a creator and he has to be one, he can't be multiple, it doesn't make sense from any kind of angle, common sense, logic, philosophy, and it makes sense to worship and go to that one creator for all your needs, then tell them, look, surely now we need to worship this creator, right? He's amazing, this amazing greatest one. So how do we know how to worship him? We need to be told, we need to be taught this, right? We can't just make it up. How do we know how to worship this creator? What So this is where the Quran comes in. So now you need to discuss the Quran and you explain to them why the Quran is miraculous, why it's the final revelation, why it cannot be an author by a human being or Arabs. It has to be miraculous, has to be divine. So that's one thing. And even if let's say for example they've understood that as well. Let's say they've agreed, yeah, Quran is the final revelation and Muhammad Sallallahu is the final messenger to mankind, and it all makes sense. And they still know. I would say, and again, if you're very careful, it depends on rapport. You need to talk about death. I would say study what Islam, the Quran and Sunnah, the Hadith, which we have about death, the soul's journey before and after death, the soul's journey before, during death, and after death, and what happens in the grave, and maybe even tell them about some scenes of Yawm al-Qiyamah, the Day of Judgment. They may need that shaken up, because maybe they need that shaken up. One thing on this, I would say, a lot of people do not want to accept Islam or submit to Islam because they're involved in various sins. I remember one guy in Harrow in London, I was giving doubt to him, and he said, Islam makes sense, mate. Islam, I think he was half Nigerian, half English. Really nice guy. He said, it makes sense, but I can't accept Islam. I go, why? Because you know what? I've got multiple girlfriends. I'm addicted to music. I'm a DJ, and I like to smoke some, bun some weed, as we say in London, right? So he's got all these bad habits, these sins. I said, look, I understand that. But the thing is, if you want to overcome these sins and these bad habits, only through Islamic discipline can help you overcome them, right? And the thing is best to be in Islam, is best to submit to Allah, is best to accept Islam and work at it rather than not being in Islam. Because if you die, as Allah says in the Quran, no other religion will be acceptable for you except Al-Islam. And Allah talks about hellfire and Jahannam in clear-cut verses, right? Nar and Jannah, right? So you got to tell them, look, you could be in massive trouble, bro. Like, why risk all that? So it's better to be in Islam and work on these sins. It may take some time rather than not accept Islam on basis on that. Okay? So I don't know if that makes sense, inshallah. So Noble Bhat says, I have a question. If one of our friends is in sin and after stopping them, they still are engaged in those sinful acts, should we still have friendship with them? Yeah, if it's not affecting you, then absolutely be in contact with them. Some brothers and sisters like to keep away because it starts affecting them. They start getting tempted, right? So, and either if be in contact with them unless it affects you, gives you temptation, or it gets you frustrated. Again, the first point, we can't get frustrated. It's a long-term process. Yeah, we see many friends. This will happen. Your friends will come on the deen, they'll lose a bad habit, then they go back again. Then they come back to the deen, then they go back again. It's going to take some time. And inshallah, after coming to and fro, they'll eventually say, you know what, Waki, only a clear conscience and feel-good factor is an Islamic way of life, not others. There's too much confusion there. So be there for them. But yeah, if you can't handle that, you might be tempted yourself, or you get frustrated, angry yourself, then you can say, look, I'm here, wherever this person is, I'm here for you. I'm not gonna, like, you could, if you don't have to, don't block them. If it's Instagram, unfollow them or mute them, not unfollow, sorry, mute them, because then you don't know what they're doing, and then that won't make you angry. But but don't unfollow them. Be connected with them, so that maybe after a year's time, when they finally want to completely change, you can be there for them. So be there for them, but you don't have to be regular communication with them. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense, inshallah. Asya Nia says, what should I do when my friends and elder relatives, they invite me for lyani? Okay, watching movie selfies. That's an interesting. I've never heard of that. What's a lyani? Which city are you from? That's an interesting culture. Anyway, lyani, in that situation, how I'll give that one. So, right. So, okay, that's a very, again, these are very interesting situations. Look, the thing is, brothers and sisters, eventually, like if I give my example, and other brothers and sisters, the more you get involved in dawah, eventually the people that keep pushing you or tempting you towards sins or bad habits, eventually they'll go away from you naturally, because you've given dawah to them and they try to invite you and you say, look, you keep making excuses. So eventually over years, this will happen and you'll be more around righteous people and practicing brothers and sisters and dawah. That will happen eventually. But in the meantime, it's a very tricky thing. I would say, if you think there's a chance for you to engage with one or two people where they listen, then probably go there. Yeah, but then don't stay the whole day. Like, so let's say the first music comes on, go there, interact with them, try and see if you can engage with someone on a one-to-one level. You know, in some sittings, I don't know where if it's a large house and it's a large gathering and it's a large hall, you can go in the corner or you can go outside. You can say, look, come, let's go in the kitchen, because there's always one or two people that either they're there but they don't want to be there. So go there, because you're not boycotting it. Grab one person if you can and go in the kitchen and have a discussion there. So in that way, the family are happy that you're still here and you get to do a bit of dawah as well, inshallah. But it's a very tricky situation. Unless you're experienced, I would say, if you were to ask me, should I go or not, yes or no, then I would say try and avoid it. It's better for you in the long term, inshallah. But it's a very tricky situation, subhanAllah. Okay. Shahana says, Assalamu alaikum. The Sahabiyat also did dawah among non-Muslim women, but not in the markets or shopping spots. So is it the right way that women go to the malls or cafes? Look, Sister Shahana, I agree. Just sisters go to malls randomly without mahram or in the streets if they can. It's not desirable. I agree. And there's different opinion of scholars on it. There is a different opinion. But the thing is, this is what I would say, and this is the way DM Dawah Motivation we encourage sisters. I'm sure all of you sisters who are watching, I'm sure, unless you're one of those people that I never go to malls, that's different. But if you go to the malls to have some food, if you go to the mall to meet another friend, do some shopping and have some cafe and stuff, then while you're there to do shopping or go to a cafe and have some coffee, if you're there, just you and one of your other friend, or the other friend is a practicing friend, then why not, if there's someone next to you on a table, start a conversation while you're there? So I wouldn't say don't go out of your way going to the malls, but if you're there, just make it turn it into a dawah situation. Yeah. So sometimes in malls they allow tables, like for example they have branding and they have these kind of things. Remember, sister, the whole point of malls is not just to go to the malls for the sake of it, because it's a place of fitna. Because the dawah has to be, if you're a Muslim and you're engaging with Muslim youth dawah, then where are the Muslim youth? Where are the Muslim girls? You're a sister, so where are the Muslim girls? Where are they hanging out? Are they in the masjid? If they're in the masjid, then there's no dawah. This is where they are. They're in the malls. So it's like going to a place where the people who need the dawah are. Yeah. So I would say my advice is generally we avoid it. But if you're going to go just have a game plan, inshallah. And if you're going to go shopping anyway, and you're going to have a coffee anyway, and you're going to go for food anyway, malls, then why not turn that into a dawah situation as well? That's what I'm saying. And or sometimes, like some sisters, some group organizations, some teams, they've been invited to have a stall there, a table there. So if people can do the branding of cosmetics and makeup, I've seen sisters hijabis have tables inside malls in Malaysia and these countries where they're selling stuff in the mall and their discussion. So if you're a niqabi or a hijabi and you're in a mall and you're selling stuff, then why can't you sell Islam? Why can't you quote it Allah? And that's where the fitna is. Yeah. But like I said, generally, if you can't handle it, if you go to malls in general, it's you should there's other ways of doing dawah as well, inshallah. Dosai Radil Anhu used to invite non-Muslim women to Croatian Islam. Can you please let us know? I actually don't know this name, Sister Shana. That's very interesting. We will definitely research that. Dosai. Excellent. MashaAllah. Alhamdulillah. Hafiz Patel says, sir, when I give dawah to my Muslim friends, they get frustrated and they don't pay attention to it and they don't want to listen. Okay. So, bro, Hafiz, what are you doing? What kind of dawah is it? I'm not saying you, but a lot of brothers who love Islam, who are very passionate about Islam, the dawah they're doing is they go up to their friends and they say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do that. That's haram, that's haram, that's haram, that's haram. Or they say, bro, I want to talk to you. Yeah. Did you know there's a hadith about hadith Qudsi, and you give a long hadith and a long explanation of Ibn Kathir, and it's almost like a lecture. So what I'm seeing a lot of brothers and sisters doing is they're either lecturing or they're being angry. What we need to do is connect with them. Yeah. So what you need to do now is with friends, you have to damage limitation. You have to go back to the drawing board and you have to start again. What you need to do is find out what they love, what kind of interests they have. If, for example, they love football and you have a little bit of interest in football, you need to increase your interest in football, playing it and knowing about the teams, because it's halal. There's no, I've not seen any fatwa saying playing football is haram and watching or following teams is haram. I've not seen any fatwa. Yeah, if you get obsessed, that's different, right? So if it's football as an example, then these friends you should find, and then just have your discussion on football. Maybe improve your own skills. Maybe, look, if it depends your dedication, dawah. If you really want to relate to them and if you want to impress them, because that's what it's all about, you learn the football skills, you become really good at it, that they go, wow, look at Hafiz Saab. He's an amazing striker. He's an amazing left midfielder. He's an amazing defender. Look at the way he heads the ball, right? So that's just one example. Maybe, and then for sisters, maybe something else. Maybe if they're into fashion, maybe you need to find out what the latest trends are. Who are the latest fashion designers, right? Who is, I don't know, who are the people in the market right now, 2021. And when you mention these names, the person who needs a dawah, so the last few months, all they've been hearing from you is Quran and Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah. Now you do dunya talk with them. Once you do dunya talk and show skills and you get to know them and you want to be friendly, then they'll be ready to listen to you. So we don't do rapport building enough. We just go straight in. We go straight in lecturing or we go straight in condemning. And that's what people don't want to do. Nobody likes to be told what to do. Nobody likes what to do. And also, I have a whole training session on how to engage with Muslim youth, effective tips to doubt on Muslim youth. As and when it comes out again, you can definitely get it now, inshallah. Ghazala Ambreen says, how to give dawah to family members, especially parents, if they're involved in sinful acts. I think I already touched upon this, sister. Like I said, you don't give dawah to them. You have to improve your manners even more. And you have to think that it's going to take you 10 years, 15 years to slowly change things, inshallah. Use videos. And one other thing, there's many things, but one other thing you can do is you can say to, for example, dad, it depends who the family member is, right? So if it's your dad or if it's your mother, and do something really crazy, really random. Say, look, and you've probably never done this before. Mom, can we go for a walk? Just me and you. Go for a walk. And say, look, Mom, can I share something with you? Now it's just you and I, because when you're inside the family in the house, it's hard to have that discussion. It's awkwardness, right? But now it's just you and the mom going for a walk. Just say to Mom, I was watching this video, it really made me think. And she'll say, beta, yes, tell me about it. Then you can tell her about it. So you're not giving a dawah, but you're telling her something profound, and hopefully it will click in there. Al-Faiz says, how to efficiently engage non-practicing brothers online via WhatsApp or dawah. Look, one tip I would give on that, there's many ways, is let's say there's this really good video, because right now everybody's sharing videos all the time, right? Where multiple groups, videos are coming, going, lots of videos. And if you saw this really amazing video that really made you think, that made you maybe tearful, or shook your heart, or made you just think about life, right? Then instead of just sharing it straight away, that's it. You need to build it up. I've mentioned this before, but let me build it up again. You target one person and you say to him, let's say this guy's name is Imran, right? You say, Assalamu alaikum, Imran, how's it going? You wait. And then maybe a few hours later, oh, wa alaikum salam, Al-Faiz, how are you? And you say, oh, yeah, how's it going? Well, how's family? And then you reply again, yeah, family's all good. Now you got his attention. Now you say to him, I want to send a video to you, because it's only short, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Remember, the videos have to be very short. If it's dawah to Muslim youth, you don't do 1 hour lectures or half an hour, 20 minutes. I would say 5 to 6 minutes. Even that's a long time. 5-6 minute videos. 5 to 6 minute dawah videos. You say to Imran, I want to send this video to you. It's really interesting. And then he'll reply, you wait. And he replies, he'll probably say, okay, send it. You don't send it. You let a day go past, a night goes past. The next day you say, oh, Imran, how you doing again? You wait. He replies, yeah, I'm okay. What's happening? You say, yeah, I'm all good, but I wanted to send you a video. It's so good, man. It's just unbelievable. And he goes, yeah. And then he'll say, yeah, you mentioned that yesterday, but you have not sent it yet. And then you say, yeah, don't worry, I'm going to send it. Don't worry, but you got to watch it. And he'll say, okay, send it. You don't send it. You wait another day. What are you doing? You're hyping up. You're making it, you're making it like, because remember, all these videos are coming now. Hopefully although he's been sent all these videos, he's probably waiting for you now, because you build it up and you build that tension, that hype, right? The third day you say, Assalamu alaikum, Imran. He says, wa alaikum salam. He'll say, wa alaikum salam. Yeah, what's going on? Where's the video? He's asking for it. then you send it, because now more likely to watch it now, rather than just sending it like that, or sending video after video after video. Get their say salam first, get their attention, build it up, hype 2-3 days, then send it. You get more chance of them watching it then. Tahreem says, dye, in my opinion, should be presentable clothing, but sometimes people praise you and this makes you happy, and then you feel like Riyah. What should one do in this situation? I think, sister, you're overthinking it. Just don't overthink it. Yeah. And go back to Allah. And, after every dawah, we should be presentable and we should give dawah, and people will praise you. That was amazing lecture. That was amazing advice. They will say this is the way human nature. You, at the end of the day, when you've done your dawah, when you go home, you do 2 nafal, or you have dua to Allah, you plead Allah for your forgiveness and to accept all that work you did in the whole day. That's all we can do. And then submit your case to Allah, and then see on the day of judgment what's accepted. Modesty is the foremost important thing, dawah of women as sahabiyat. So is it right to come into the camera without perfect niqab with the purpose of giving dawah? Sister, I would say that hijab and niqab both are valid fiqh opinions. So, alhamdulillah, if sisters want to wear niqab, mashallah. If sisters only wear with the hijab, as long as they cover everything and loose clothing, that is also valid in Islam, alhamdulillah. Yes, sisters should try and give dawah. If they are going to come in videos, I would recommend that when it comes to videos, I mean, I'm being really raw and honest here, yeah? When it comes to videos, if you're just a hijabi videos, then obviously it's good to wear a mask, have that, bit of hidden, inshallah, if you're going to come videos. A lot of women in the world are watching videos. This is a fact of life, right? Millions of non-Muslim women and Muslim youth girls. So I think it'd be a good impact if a sister makes videos as well. So this is why I feel there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as she's modest, and it's probably best to wear the niqab, not inshallah. But I don't want to go into too much into the fiqh of it. I'm talking about the reality of the situation and effective means, inshallah. Maryam Fatma says, okay, what's the time? 34. Okay, alhamdulillah. Because this could go on, right? So I want to pick on someone that hasn't asked the questions. The same people asking questions and commenting, mashallah. Let's have a look. Rabail Patel. Some non-Muslims understand and listen to plain things, but when we talk about Islam or Quran, they run away, that you are brainwashing, ignoring them. How to deal with this type of people? Yeah, that does happen. So when it comes to movies or football or celebrities, they will chat to you openly, but as soon as the conversation becomes serious, they'll freak out. Number one, don't chat in groups. When you got 3-4 non-Muslim friends, they will more likely mock and feel strong and not take you seriously. Try and do divide and rule, which is try and get someone on a one-to-one situation. Yeah, work on one person at a time. An example of this is in the Seerah. When subhanallah, the leaders of Quraysh at the height of in Makkah, when they were persecuting the Muslims, we know the incident that each of the leaders, I think Abu Jahl was one of them, I think, where they went to listen to Quran in the night in secret. So in the daytime they were attacking, but in secret, so when they're together in the daytime, yeah, we must fight the Muslims, and we must end the Prophet Muhammad's campaign. But in the night, when they just couldn't help listen to Quran, it's so beautiful. But then obviously they were caught, and they said they made a pact that we will never meet together again. What that shows, the example I get from that, is when you get a non-Muslim alone, he'll more likely listen to you. But when you're group think, they will more likely be bold to mock you and not listen to you. So that's number one. Get them. The other thing is, look, again, if you can't give direct dawah, then WhatsApp videos is an amazing tool now. Social media is an amazing tool. If they added you on Instagram, then if you got non-Muslims, I've got in my Facebook, for example, and probably Instagram as well, I've got all sorts of people, Muslims and non-Muslims, Christians, Hindu, everyone. What I do, actually not many Hindus to be honest, but more Christians and atheists. I will share strategically. So I wouldn't just share, we like to share what we can. But sometimes just be strategic in your sharing with the knowledge that, oh, there's a non-Muslim on Facebook. Let me share this video and he or she may see it. So remember, we have to pass on the message in different ways, right? So yeah, I think these two things I can think of right now. But the thing is, you see, how I want to say this carefully, right? The dawah is serious. The dawah is serious. It's a serious affair to get to know Allah, to fear the fire, and hope and strive to get Jannah. It's a very serious issue. But to get to the serious issue, to get to the serious talk, we need to do the fun element. The fun, because look, especially youth now, and especially non-Muslims, for them it's all about fun, laughter, entertainment. We can also be as fun and laughter, entertainment as much as we can. You know, we don't have to talk about movie and music, but there's, like I said, the example of football, there's sports and that kind of thing. So what you, again, as I said to the brother before, I think brother Hafiz, you need to show them that you also love a lot of dunya things. Like, I don't know, if you're into gaming, for example, then you need to know your knowledge about gaming, and you need to discuss that with them, and be a good gamer, be the best gamer, So when they think, okay, this Falafel Muslim is practicing devout, but he's such a good gamer, they will learn to respect you and want to know you, and they'll come. You know, remember, we have to sometimes impose ourselves on them. Yeah, we have to, like, impose, meaning we have to impress them. Yeah, with our personality, with our knowledge, with our skills. Muslims have a lot of skills, subhanAllah, but we like to keep that hidden. We just want to preach and preach. No, dawah is not preaching. That comes later. Once you've impressed a non-Muslim so much that this person loves football, he's a good gamer, he's kind. Once you got all that, they themselves will come to you one day and say, look, what makes you Muslim? Why are you Muslim? Why do you come to our parties? Why don't you come to clubs? Why don't you come? They'll ask that themselves. Yeah. So anyway, Bint Pervez, Assalamu alaikum Ustad. How to start a conversation with random sisters? I mean, when we try to talk to them about dawah, they don't show interest and try to run away. Are you talking about street dawah? That's what I'm thinking. But again, like I keep saying, rapport building, ice breaking, getting to know, introductions, tell them about yourself. These are critical in the dawah. If you want people to listen to you, you need people to like you first. Yeah. Don't just go in with knowledge and academic knowledge. Okay, I'm going to go down. Muhammad bin Abdul Karim, what is the difference between Islah and Dawah? What I know is for Muslims, we do Islah. Okay, bro, my take on this right now, 2021, planet Earth, the whole world needs Dawah. Us Muslims, practicing Muslims, our families, Muslim youth, non-Muslim, everybody right now, the world is disconnected from Allah in general. Only a few are connected. The world needs Tawheed. So I don't even see a difference for now. So if I see a Muslim youth in my town that's not praying and in drugs and haram relationships, I want to give them dawah. I want to call them back to Allah. Because a lot of Muslims, they do not even know why they're Muslims. They don't know Allah. We don't know Allah. They don't know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His nature, His glory, His names and attributes. What, should we be grateful to Him? How much gratitude? Should we worship Him? Does He deserve worship? Yeah. So that's the way we should look at it, inshallah. Right. So every conversation almost has to be about Allah. We need to go back to the foundations of Islam and connect to people back to Allah, whether it's a Muslim or non-Muslim. So in that way, that kind of covers either Islam or Dawah. These are terminologies, subhanAllah. Okay. People are exchanging Instagrams, alhamdulillah. Nazia Messiah says, how about you doing a lot, but they take advantage of your goodness because they know you're God-fearing? I'm not sure what you mean by that. How about you doing a lot, but they still taking advantage? If someone's taking advantage of your niceness, then tell them, be frank with them. Sometimes we have to be firm. Say, look, bro or sister, I've been nice to you the past year, and I've been nice to you, and I've been giving you good advice, but it feels like you take advantage of me, and then give clear examples. Sometimes people need that little push. They need that shaken up. Yeah. So be front with them. Be upfront with them. Have a phone call with them. Not typing, not text. Phone call. SJ, how do we get out to Hindus? Unfortunately, yeah. Okay, subhanAllah. I was wondering if somebody's going to ask that. That's a huge subject. And this will be the second last question I'll take, inshallah, today, and then we'll have another session again some of the weekend. I want to work on a course, a fresh approach to Hindus, and I've got some ideas, and they are based upon the following. And this is a very brief intro of what kind of stuff I'm trying to work on when I get the time. I believe, in my experience with Hindus in London and what I've seen online, is a lot of Hindus they when it comes to purpose of life and the origins of the universe. So what do I mean by origins of the universe? Origins of the universe is a discussion about the galaxy, the laws of gravity, the precision of the sun to the earth, the electromagnetic forces. I mean, all this scientific jargon, all the discussion about the universe and how it's processed and how it works. It's a very interesting, very academic, very scientific discussion. Now, the thing is, you can have this discussion with anybody, especially Hindus. But the thing is, if you have this discussion, the problem is when you start a discussion, what they can't overcome 1947, Kashmir, Babri Masjid, Tipu Sultan, Aurangzeb, Pakistan, Kargil. Yeah, this is what it's in their mind. So what you need to do is, before you start the conversation, I've only tried it once, and alhamdulillah, it's successful. I said to the Hindu, okay, let's have a discussion about the purpose of life, but let's put aside that I'm Muslim, you're Hindu. Let's put aside Islam and religion. Do you agree? You know, in the Dawah, when we do the Dawah in Gorak, we have something which is common sense and agreement. Common sense is we use logic. For example, would you agree that if I was to blindfold you and tell you to cross the road, that's silly, it doesn't make sense? And they'll say, yeah, that makes sense. So that's the common sense I'm talking about. Not crazy philosophy, not theory, common sense. And they go, yeah, that makes sense. Okay. And the other thing is, at each step, get an agreement. At each step, you get an agreement. So when you discuss Hindus, maybe lay down the ground rules. I want to discuss with you, Mr. Raj or Patel or whatever. I want to discuss with you, Rajesh. I'll think of the name Rajesh. I want to discuss with you the purpose of life, but without getting emotional, and have a proper objective chat. But do you agree, Rajesh, that let's put aside India-Pakistan border, Kashmir, LOC, Kargil, 1947, partition, riots, Gandhi, Jinnah, Aurangzeb. You mention all this. Let's put all this aside. Me, Nadeem, you, Rajesh, let's have a chat. Do we exist? Do we exist? Of course, yaar, hum exist karte hain. What about the universe? So now you discuss the universe. Now look, hopefully he'll say yes, but you started the riots in Babri. Rajesh, we agreed that you're gonna okay, because they've been taught to be political. They're trying to mix political and current affairs and history and tariq into a discussion about the purpose of life. It's two different things. Yeah, it's two different things. They're discussing Muslim history and Muslim Hindu relationships, not Islam. Islam's foundation is the universe and why does it exist, and is there a creator, and does the creator communicate with human being? Yeah, that's what I would. That is one thing. And when I did that with one person, he actually listened to me, and he actually said, actually, now it kind of makes sense. And I actually said to this person, I bet when I was talking, you wanted to bring up 1947, you wanted to bring up Kashmir, you wanted to bring up Musharraf and Gandhi, and he goes, yeah, I did. I go, but you didn't, and that's why we had a good conversation, right? And now I'm gonna give you some stuff to research, which you did. Yeah, that's one. Number two is spirituality. Brothers and sisters, in Islam, I want to hear in the comments, do we not have a beautiful, profound, deep spiritual tradition? We have the best intellectual tradition, of course. We have the best answers to the life's biggest question, but we also have a beautiful spiritual tradition. We, look at the work of Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah or Ibn Rajab. Look at the work of Al-Ghazali. Look at the quotes and sayings of Hassan al-Basri, right? SubhanAllah, we have so much content on this, unbelievable. How, spirituality and the matters of the heart and the love of Allah and the hubb of Allah, we have so much on this, videos, books. We need to make some time to study all this. The Hindus, they need to know what it feels like for a Muslim when he or she is in sujood. That ecstasy, that beautiful feeling, that spirituality, yeah, that submission, that awe, the tears, yeah. They need to hear this side of it, because a lot of people know Islam by do's and don'ts. I bet you if you ask any Hindu, in fact, anybody in the world, but especially Hindu, you ask any Hindu, what is Islam? In fact, forget Hindu, you can ask Muslims this, yeah, but let's go Hindus. What is Islam? He'll say the following. Islam, yes, Islam, 4 wives, halal meat, pork is haram, sharab, alcohol is haram, Eid, halwa, Maulvi, that's Islam. And then followed by don't do this, don't do this, ye nahi karna. So a whole list of don'ts and don'ts and don'ts. Yes, Islam has do's and don'ts. Islam has halal meat. But the real essence of Islam is what? It's submission to Allah, to be in awe of our Rabb. Al-Hayy, Al-Qayyum, Al-Wudud, Ar-Rahman. You know, the Al-Ghani, the independent. People do not know the subtle. Subhanallah. Yeah? Tell people about Allah's name and truth. This is Islam. And when we talk about death and we discuss the soul's journey after death and how the soul is removed from the body, you know, the bad soul, it's a ripping, it's a horrible sensation as per the narrations. But if you're a good soul, then it's like a beautiful water trickling. I mean, subhanAllah, we have this tradition, but they don't know this. When you think of spirituality, you think of Buddhism or yoga or even Hinduism. But subhanAllah, we have this. So I think they need to know this. These are some of the tips, and there's actually 4 or 5 other tips we can work on. For example, a third thing would be an angle where you actually say to this person, I want to tell you about the names of Allah. I want to discuss with you about some of the names and attributes of Allah, the Creator. And that we can, and yeah, one last thing, to add that, you know, rather than go to different gods, remember common sense, rapport building, rather going to different little gods for every different thing, why not just go straight to Creator? If I've sinned, I go straight to Him, and inshallah He will answer. Allah will answer. If I need something, I don't have to go to after any puja or offer any offerings. I just go straight to Allah, because Allah doesn't need. He does not need anything. We need Him. He does not need anything. Subhanallah, right? As part of our tawheed. So, does that make sense to you? You know, you said, does that make sense to you? And that's how it is, inshallah. Brothers and sisters, I want to make this as an hour because a lot of questions. If some of you can, whoever's here from DM Dawah Motivation, I see Brother Al-Faiz there. If you can just scroll up and copy paste the questions I missed, then I'll try and answer them either through Instagram videos where I will tell a question and hopefully inshallah. But I'll try and do this weekly, an hour random Q&A inshallah. Other than that, Jazakallah for listening. I know I probably didn't give comprehensive answers to the questions, so I seek your forgiveness for that. But inshallah, you know, as and when we discuss more, the answers will become reality, inshallah. So, so I will ask again, if someone, Sister Farheen is here, Sister Farheen, if I can ask you to just go up and copy and paste on the questions I missed, and inshallah we'll take that. So Jazakallah, sisters, brothers and sisters, for listening. May Allah accept our work, accept your dawah efforts, accept your worship, accept your seeking knowledge, inshallah. I'm going to end it there. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.